And now, it's Boomer Life. Lifestyle discussion designed to make your life more engaging, meaningful, and complete. Celebrating the baby boomer generation, this is Boomer Life on CIL 650.
Great theme song for today's show. It is The Law Show on CL 650. I'm Zach Spencer, and today we're talking about personal injury, mostly surrounding car accidents, dealing with ICBC. From Macquarie LLP, we have Kevin Hyde back in studio, partner at Macquarie, and also Neil Mulholland, associate counsel at Macquarie LLP. Welcome back to the show, gentlemen.
Thank you, Zach.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit personally about yourselves and how you came to this area of law and what you find interesting about it and what makes Macquarie LLP unique in the marketplace if you're looking for somebody to represent you if you've been in an accident. So we'll start with Kevin. How long have you been practicing law? What was your path to Macquarie, and what do you find interesting about personal injury?
Well, I've been at Macquarie Hunter since day one. I articled with Macquarie back in 2008, and I've been here since, and gradually...
Wait a second, 2008, and you're a partner already? How did you get fast-tracked like that?
Not sure. Depends who you ask, I think. So I started out doing a couple areas of law, commercial litigation. I did a little solicitor work as well in my articles. Quickly found that I was meant to be on the litigation side of things, and did some ICBC defense was what I initially started with, and I gradually realized I preferred, rather than working against plaintiffs in motor vehicle accident cases, preferred to help these people.
Is it a bit soul-sucking working for the Crown Corporation?
Something like that. But no, I definitely get more enjoyment personally from working with people who have been in these accidents and taking often for these people, it's the most stressful time of their life. They're not working. It's affecting their relationships. They're in chronic pain, which often leads to, anxiety, depression, and so on. And to be able to step in and help these people through the ICBC claims process and essentially take that pressure off of them so they can just concentrate on getting better and getting proper treatment, and also assisting in ensuring that they get proper treatment, and that's covered under their Part 7 benefits through ICBC.
We're going to talk about that, yeah.
Yeah, we help with that as well. So, we're here to help, and I definitely get a lot more enjoyment doing my job, helping people during these difficult times.
See, Neil, I opened the door for him to talk about his hockey playing days in university with Nate, who also works with you, and he left that off the table. I mean, it was a bit of time for him to brag about his...
Hockey is a depressing subject for me now that I'm 36 or 37 in August with a child. I've become from being one of the better players on the team to probably the absolute worst player on the team now.
Yes. Does that mean you got to get bumped down to the beer league now?
We've been bumped down. We started in Div 1, and now I don't even want to say what division our team's been bumped down to. So I stay away from that subject now. I understand why older people, I used to wonder when I first started, always would talk so much about their kids. It's because they're not good at anything anymore than their job. So they're talking about their kids' hockey or sports.
So if you get rubbed into the boards, can you hire Neil as your personal injury?
I'm sure I've signed some kind of waiver that I didn't read before I signed up for my beer league hockey, but yeah.
All right. Now, Neil, over to you and your path to Macquarie and how you got into personal injury law. And so you went to undergrad at UVic, is that right?
I did, and law school at UBC, and then was called to the bar 20 years ago now.
Mm-hmm. And when you went into university at UVic, did you think I wanted to be a lawyer, or is it something that you kind of got to by accident?
I'm one of the rare ones. I actually had the goal of becoming a lawyer from a fairly early age, but that's not the case for most of my colleagues.
Did your parents say you were a good litigator when you were a kid?
I think my parents were just frustrated at trying to get a word in edgewise when I was a kid.
Because I say my son could argue his way out of anything or into anything. So I kind of wonder if kids like that are probably, do they make good lawyers? I don't know.
Well, I think my parents might say that I was that sort of kid back in the day. But in any event, I started doing personal injury work in my articling year before I was actually called to the bar. And then from that point on, worked in-house for ICBC for 5 years doing defense work on these types of claims. And for the last 14, 15 years, I've been exclusively on the plaintiff side of the personal injury business, as well as, of course, I have a commercial practice as well. And typically what I've been doing in the last 20 months since I joined Macquarie is to, apart from running my own personal injury practice, I have also begun taking on a role helping out some of the other lawyers in the firm with matters that are going to trial, because trial is very time-consuming and it is kind of a specialized skill set in many ways. And
I've learned that talking to, the three of you in the personal injury department that I've had on the show here, is that, you might be working on a file on your own, but then when you start getting close to that court date, you bring in other members, right, of the team.
That's the advantage of hiring Macquarie Hunter. We're not just a one or two man shop here.
75
Macquarie
cents.
LLP.
So we have this running gag here on the Law Show that if you say the former name, as Kevin just did, you have to put a quarter in the quarter jar. You're up to 75 cents. I'm hoping at the end of this I might be able to get a large coffee at Tim Hortons,
Snickers,
but you never know.
Yeah, and we do work closely as a team. When you hire us and it's the time for settlement, you're not only getting the input of one personal injury lawyer, you're getting the input of a few. We have monthly meetings. We often discuss files with each other. And as you were just saying, we as trial approaches and you're getting down to the real negotiations, we often bring in another lawyer.
And when you're actually sitting in the court, are there two or three lawyers there on your side?
There can be, yeah.
Yeah?
There can be. Typically, it's one or two. But, we definitely, depending on the length of the trial, we do a better job for you because we can divide up the tasks. And Neil has a lot of experience that he brings to the table doing trial work as well. So, often on my trials that are longer than a week, I'll bring Neil in on board, and I get another opinion on the how to strategy and how to proceed to settle this claim, or if it has to go to trial, to win at trial.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things that's kind of inherent to legal practice in any field is there's always something to learn. There's always something you don't know yet. I mean, I've been doing this for 20 years, and yet regularly I will ask colleagues their thoughts on certain topics. To give an example, I have a case right now which is kind of coming towards fruition, which involves something called complex regional pain syndrome. Mm. It's a rare and very unpleasant condition where people can develop basically a chronic, often permanent pain in one specific area of the body. And I had heard of it before. I think a colleague back when I was at ICBC in the late 90s had a claim of similar nature, but beyond that, in 20 years, I had not handled any cases involving chronic or complex regional pain. And it was nice to be able to walk down the hall and talk to two or three people, each of whom had something of an insight to give me. At the end of that 15 minutes of conversation, I knew a lot more than I ever did before. And
so you have a cumulative knowledge.
Exactly. Right? And our clients get the benefit of all of that. Mm-hmm. It tends to happen more towards the end of a file where, say, trial or a mediation is approaching and everyone's attention is very focused on the fine details of the file, and you realize, well, maybe I need to get a bit more information about this point or that point. But it can happen really at any point. There are situations where I've signed the client up at 9:30 in the morning, and by 11 o'clock I'm having a chat with one of my colleagues about a particularly novel part of that case that I hadn't really encountered anywhere in my practice before then. Mm-hmm. So when a client hires a firm like ours, where not only do we have a significant number of personal injury lawyers, we also have a broad range of experience. A lot of us have done both defense and plaintiff's work at various points in our careers, for example. Many of us have handled unusual or unique files that required unique approaches or unique skill sets. And we're able to benefit from all of that. And it's one of the things that I've noticed coming from a much smaller firm has been a great benefit to my clients.
And it helped to share the load a little bit, too. Does it help you not get burnt out?
I think Neil was saying that on the last show about having to step away from your own practice for 10, 20, 30 days preparing for a trial and going to the trial. He can run that to trial now. There's not that someone else can step into the shoes and help out as a team would
and do you
manage his clients during that time. Pardon me?
Do you backfill each other regularly on these different files?
Of course we do, yeah. And as I said, we have the meetings regularly as well, and we all have different roles and different skill sets that we bring to the table.
Okay.
And it gives you a little more oomph with ICBC as well when they see that you have a roster full of trial lawyers that, to keep them honest. And, if they don't come to the plate with a fair offer, that we will take them to trial.
I thought you were going to say umph. You said umph.
Enjoy
You said umph.
Umph. I don't. Is that a word? That's a word.
Umph. But we're going to talk about umph. What is umph?
It's a good segue for you.
See,
I set you up there.
That's my job.
Throwing you softballs.
We're also going to talk about what are Part 7 benefits. Neil mentioned that. Now, most people listening don't know that they have that in their insurance policy. They don't know that they have umph. What does UMP stand for? We're going to find out about all of that next on The Law Show on CL 650.
Celebrating the baby boomer lifestyle. This is Boomer Life on CL 650.